Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. And this is what I've been making today. So stay with me and I will show you how it all went together. Got myself a piece of Whisper White, which I have cut to 3.5 by 5.25. And I'm using this stamp from the Thoughtful Branches stamp set for this part of the project. But first of all, I want to lay down some colour on my card. So I've got Daffodil Delight to begin with and my Stampin' Sponge. And I'm going to sponge some areas of Daffodil Delight onto my card. Now, I'm probably going to speed this up and give you some music to listen to, because otherwise this may be a very long video. So and next I'm using some Peekaboo Peach. And last of all, for this part of the project, I have Pumpkin Pie. Okay, now I want this to be dry, so I'm going to take my heat tool to it and I will be right back. Okay, I thoroughly dried this, and just to be sure, I've gone over the top of it with my stamping buddy, and I've got my stamp and Versamark ink, and I'm going to stamp some leaves onto my card. Now I'm going to try and put the leaf in a place where the colour's quite interesting, so where it shades from orange to yellow, for example. And again here. And here. And here, and I think one more for this layer. And I'm moving the card around so I can see where I've stamped and where I could do with maybe another one possibly there. Okay, so I have clear embossing powder. I'm going to work onto a piece of paper. And I'm just going to put the embossing powder where I want it. And if it goes in places I don't want it, which I can see it has in some parts, because possibly I didn't get my card as bone dry as I thought I did. Have I got all of them? Yeah, I think that's it. Then not to worry, because I've got a little paintbrush here, little dry paintbrush, and I'm just going to brush that excess powder off. Now for this particular technique, you know, as long as there isn't too much of it, it's not really a matter of life and death. So I'm going to put that on one side, and I'm just going to heat up the embossing that I've just done. Excuse me. That's my first layer, so I'm going to add in some more colour, and I'm going to add some Pear Pizzazz. that's my first layer. So now I'm going to add in some more colour, and I'm going to add some Pear Pizzazz this time. Okay, that's had time to dry, and again I've gone over with the embossing buddy, and I did get a bit carried away and start verse marking before I dried it, so I hope this is going to be alright, but if not, do you know what? It's a look. Oops. Okay. Right, let's see how this is working then. Okay, how are we looking? Oh, there's one there. Okay, I think that's not too bad. There's a couple of areas here where it's a bit messy, so I'll take my paintbrush to those. Just flick that away, and again for this particular effect it isn't really going to matter very much. I'm taking a little bit too much away from that one, so back we go again. There we go, that's better, that's much better. And somehow or other I've double stamped that one, and that one hasn't picked up the powder as I'd hoped, but do you know what? I'm going to live with it. I'm going to call that okay, and let's see how it comes out. I'm going to add some more layers of colour now. Right, I've pretty much finished with my stamping and embossing, so now I'm going to add some more layers of colour, and I'm going to start with some delightful Dijon. Let's try some Old Olive now. And last of all, some crumb cake. And as you can see, there are some spots there where the embossing powder went where I didn't exactly want it, but it's okay, it's part of the look. I've got a piece of vellum here which is 2.5 inches by 4 3/4 ish, and I'm using archival black ink, and I'm using this sentiment from the same stamp set. I'm inking it up well, and I'm going to put that more or less centrally on my vellum. Now I should have said before I started, and while I'm holding this down, to get a good transfer of ink, that I did go over the top of the vellum with my embossing buddy before I started, because even though this is archival ink and it does dry quite quickly, vellum can be tricky. And the reason vellum can be tricky is because it's a very dense, slick, non-porous surface, and Stampin' Ink has a problem drying on it. So if you've got a good length of time that you can leave your vellum for the ink to dry, then, you know, and you're using an archival, then by all means do so. But generally speaking, ink does not dry well on vellum, even dye-based ink, which usually dries quite quickly, so you're usually better off embossing it. I'm just going to flick that embossing powder off my silicone mat here. Okay. Put the lid back on the ink pad. This is the Beautiful Branches die set, and it's a companion set to the Thoughtful Branches stamps, and I've cut 3 of these stems with leaves on out of old olive card, and I've gone with my finger dauber and I've just sponged them a little bit with old olive ink. So that's my preparation, and I'm going to I think I'm going to cut them into singles rather than leave them on branches. And to stick them on, I have my Tombow glue, and I've opened it to the broad end because Tombow has a very clever way of dispensing glue, and I'm just going to spread some of that out onto, this is a piece of plastic. As you can see, it's a document wallet that I've hacked into, and I'm just going to snip off my branches like this. Just like this. Don't need those bits. Put my scissors away, and I'm just going to flap them into the adhesive and arrange them onto my card. And I'm going to leave the bit in the middle reasonably free so that my my sentiment can go in there, but I'm not obsessing over it. You know, if they're there, they're there. But what I am probably going to do is to use the leaves to cover up some of the bits that I'm not so happy about. You see that there is looking a little bit pale and uninteresting. I'm getting some of this on my fingers, but a baby wipe will deal with that. Not a problem. Not a worry. That one can go there. And whoops, stay boy, stay. And we'll have one more. Okay, didn't want to stick the glue on that side, but never mind. Not to worry. Actually, I'll reject that one. I'll use another one because I didn't want 6 anyway. Because whenever you're crafting and whenever you're laying, you know, you're doing your design layout, for some reason odd numbers always work better than even. So 1 is fine, 3 is fine, but 2, I don't know, doesn't seem to work so well somehow. Right, okay. So, and I should have said, by the way, that I mounted this onto some pumpkin pie. I did try it against old olive, but it looked better on the pumpkin pie, so that's what I went with. Okay, so here is my piece of vellum, and actually I'm just going to wipe my fingers with a baby wipe because I'm still a bit sticky. There we go. I'll move that away. Move my gluey plastic away, otherwise I'm bound to stick my fingers in it. Okay, so I'm just going to arrange that pretty much how I like it, and I'm just going to bend over the edge of my vellum just so that it wraps around my card, and that way I don't have to worry about adhesive showing through. Okay, so all I'm going to do is turn that over, and I have some masking tape here. Again, doesn't have to be pretty, it just needs to hold that down long enough for me to stick the whole thing to the front of my card base, and that is it. And there you are. So I bring in my card base, which is just an A4 piece of Whisper White cut in half and folded on the halfway mark, and some snail gone, there you go. Perhaps if you open the snail first, it really does. And let me stick that to the front of my card. And there we are. Here's my finished card. And I hope that you are liking the stamp and die bundle as much as I am. And if you are, and you're thinking, do you know what, I've got to have that, don't wait, right? Don't mess about. Get in touch with Stampin' Up demonstrator straight away, and I'll go on the website, go to my online store if you want to shop with me. Details are beneath the video, and get on and order it because it is only available in the month of August 2016. And after that it will be withdrawn from sale. It's a time limited offer, so it ain't you forever, Trevor. If you want it, don't mess about. Okay, but that is it for me for today, and I hope very much that you have enjoyed this project, and if so, please do give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting more soon. Visit my Facebook or my blog or my online shop as mentioned. Details are below this video. But for now, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.